Hello, owners, live from Peanut Butter Jelly Time League headquarters in historic Pigtown. It's week 10 in review. Scores were a little bit down this week, so Clash City Rockers was able to sneak in their first weekly high score of the season as they topped the St. Lucia Zooks 129.18 to 101.42. Josh Jacob leads the Rockers in scoring with 29.6 points on 21 carries for 112 yards, only his second 100-yard game of the year, and he had 2 touchdowns. He added 4 catches for 24 yards in that contest. Malcolm Brown had his best outing since week 1 with 18.1 points. By the way, he is only his second double-digit of the double-digit game of the year since week 1 when he was the hot pick off waivers. You all know it, and you all know I probably spent too much money. More on that later. Anyway, moving on, and Kareem Hunt chipped in 16.7. Hunt currently ranked 8th at the running back position, drafted 58th overall in the 5th round, and possibly the last pick that I actually remember. DeAndre Hopkins scores 14.2 points in the last 30 seconds of his game to lead the Zooks with 24.2 points. Knock it down! Adam Thielen has 18.3 on Monday night, and Russell Wilson, 11.92. Wilson's previous low score this season was 26.9. An off week for the MVP candidate. CCR is unable to make up ground on Mambunga Knights because they beat Sheboygan Headbangers 108.78 to 92.36. Herbert, the big scorer for Mambunga, he drops 24.48 on 20 of 32 passing for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. He added 10 yards on the ground and another touchdown. T. Higgins scores 23, and Wayne's World Gallman, never heard of him, he gets 18.5. His 4th double-digit game in a row, by the way. Sheboygan Headbangers, Deontay Johnson leads scores with 22.6. Prater, 16, and the Saints D, 15. And you know it's coming. You know it's a bad week when 2 of your top 3 are your defense and your kicker. Moving on, in the big game of the week, Cobra Kai knocks off the Chili Dogs, 118.94 to 103.06. Cobra Kai on fire. Winners of 4 in a row were led by Tom fucking Brady. The GOAT scores 39.84, leading all scorers this week on 28 of 39 passing for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tom Terrific also had 2 carries for 2 whole yards, significant because one of them was a TD. Talk about draft day steals. Brady is currently QB6 after being drafted by Cobra Kai in the 9th, 101 overall. Then dropped by Cobra Kai, only to be picked up by Bathtub Gin and traded back to Cobra Kai. Quite the journey for a QB6, who also happens to be the GOAT. Other big scorers for Cobra, Ryan Sucky Suckup, 16, and Terry McLaurin, 15.7. Josh Allen leads the Dogs with 30.86. Juju Smith-Schuster had 18.2. And Daniel, don't call me Carlton Carlson, had 15 in his best game of the year. Currently, kicker 1. Way to go, Carlson. Belichick yourself continues their winning ways. They top the Pilot Lights, 114 to 90.48. If you're keeping track, this is my 4th game that I'm highlighting, and you might have noticed something in common with all 4 losing teams. They're all from the Pawtucket Brewer Division. All 4 teams in the Pawtucket Brewer Division lost this week. Kyler Murray leads the way for Belichick yourself. He was on the other end of that huge DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary. He had 31.9. He went 22 of 32 for 245 and a touchdown. He also ran for 61 yards and 2 scores. Chase Claypool threw up 19.3, double digits in 5 of 6 games since his bye. And James Robinson throws down 14.2. Kamara leads the lights with 31.3. I don't even know what the hell I wrote there. Jared Goff had 14.48. And J.D. McKiss-ing, it gets 14.4. Moving on. Oh. Bathtub Gin. You got to be a little faster there, buddy. The Gin loses their 7th straight to the hands of the Lake Show. This time, 114.24 to 113.36 is the final on this one. So close. Less than 1 point. The Lake Show is led by Matthew Stafford's 29.04 on 24 of 33 passing for 276 yards and 3 scores. Antonio Gibson puts up 20.5 and DJ Moore adds 17.6. Bathtub Gin, led by Lamar Jackson's 25.46 in that Sunday night monsoon game. A loss to the Patriots, but, who's counting? DeAndre Swift had 23.4, and Nick Chubb comes back after missing 4 weeks plus his bye to hang 20.6 on the scoreboard for Bathtub Gin. Last, and certainly not least, the Dragers notched their 3rd win of the season with a 113.2 to 81.82 victory over the Texas Rattlesnakes. Aaron Rodgers leads all Dragers in scoring with 31.4 on 24 of 34 passing for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had another touchdown on the ground with his stellar Brady-like 3 carries for 4 yards and a touchdown. Reminds me of the old Bettis. What did Bettis have, 3 touchdowns on 10 yards rushing in one game or something? That was a classic. All right, where was I? Let's see. So, after rolling out his 3.8 points in week 6, Rodgers has been over 30 points in each of the last 4 weeks. He's QB5, by the way. Let's hear it for the old guys. We're not dead yet. Stephon Diggs has 20.3, and Brandon Ayuk added 16.2. Rattlesnakes scoring from Justin Jefferson, 19.5, Mike Evans, 16.7, and Joe Burrow, 14.52. Dragers, Rattlesnakes, and Bathtub Gin, all 3-7. Speaking of records, let's take a look at the standings. In the Quahog division, Belichick yourself stays in first place by 1 game. They are 7-3. Right at their heels, the smoking hot Cobra Kai, 6-4. Drager and Gin drifting further back, both, as I just mentioned, 3-7. Again, as mentioned earlier, the Pawtucket Brew division, the entire division lost this week, so no movement in the standings. Chili Dogs still in first place, still by 1 game. They're 6-4 now. Zooks and Headbangers are those teams behind the Chili Dogs. Both are 5-5. And Pilot Lights only 2 games out at 4-6. Drunken Clam, Man Bunga, CCR, and the Lake Show all win and separate from the Rattlesnakes. Man Bunga, 7-3. CCR, 1 game back, 6-4. The Lake Show, 2 games back at 5-5. And 4 games back, the 3-7 Texas Rattlesnakes. 4 games left. So technically, mathematically, nobody's out of it yet. Maybe it would break down to some tiebreakers and shit, so maybe somebody is. But technically, everybody's still kind of in it with 4 games left. This is the last week of interdivisional games, and then we go to the home stretch, the three divisional games to end the season. We got a couple of huge games this week. The first place 6-4 Dogs take on the second place 6-4 Rockers. Bella Check Yourself goes for a win versus the Lake Show. And Cobra Kai goes win hunting in Sheboygan, trying to top the Headbangers. And then, like I said, next week we start divisional play. Nothing real notable as far as NFL and COVID going on right now. The big injury of the week was Drew Brees with some broken ribs and a punctured lung. So he'll be out for several weeks. We got our bye week teams this week are Buffalo, Chicago, the G-Men, and the 49ers. We got Arizona at Seattle on Thursday night, just over 24 hours away. Sunday night, the 8-1 Kansas City Chiefs travel to Sin City to take on the 6-3 Raiders in a big AFC West showdown. Raiders hoping to get another win against the Chiefs and draw closer in that AFC West race. All right, dudes, that's all I got for week 10. I am out of here. See you in the hallways somewhere. I don't know. Facebook, internet. Goodbye.